Welcome back to the show. I know you're probably going, oh, they're back. Well, that's for the two of you who actually do watch the show. But we are back, and I was going to do something else, but I'm going to do the other part now, just so you know. I don't care whether you know. Why am I telling you this? Anyway, I wanted to tell you about the new Star Trek movie. Now, I am a Star Trek fan. I know, everybody's like, oh, another geek. Well, yes, okay, fine. Actually, I don't really like other science fiction stuff. It's really weird, because I don't know why, but I really like Star Trek. So I like to watch Star Trek. I know the basic missions and who's who. I know Spock and Kirk and McCoy and Bones and everybody else. I know them. I also know Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. You give me a Star Trek character, I can pretty much place where they belong. Okay? So anyway, we had they just came out with a new Star Trek movie, and I was like, ooh. And I was like, oh, but I want to do it. And I'm like, no. I'm doing this movie review. Because I really liked the movie. I went to the movie and I was like, oh my. I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk afterward. I went into complete emotional shutdown mode. Okay? I mean, really. And it's kind of rare for me. Not extremely rare, but when I start acting like a Vulcan, something is definitely wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's great. I love the movie. It was awesome. And there's an old friend in it. I mean, it's supposed to be of, I mean, if you haven't got, this is not really a spoiler at this point. If you don't realize that the movie, the basis of the movie is Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, Chekhov, Sulu. Well, they didn't have Nurse, the one Majel played, Majel Barrett. Nurse Chapel. They didn't have her in it. But everybody else was in this movie, okay? But other people were playing them. Except for one. Which I got to see. I didn't think I'd ever see. It's Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock on the original series. He's actually in this film. I was blown away. I was like, oh my. Really? I mean, honestly, he comes on and I'm like, hey, hi. What are you doing here? I'm not kidding. I was just in complete shock. Sure. I mean, William Shatner gets out. He does things constantly. That's fine. I know in Next Generation and that kind of stuff, we've got Spock in the middle of Romulan territory doing things. That's fine. But to have him back, it's like, yes, thank you. I never thought I'd actually see him on the big screen. I didn't. I really didn't. And then, there he is. I mean, there he is. Yeah. So if you have not seen the movie, which, if you like anything Star Trek and you have not seen this movie, what on earth are you doing? Go see the movie! Even if you fuss about it, go see the movie so you know what you're fussing about. Anyway, I couldn't find anything to fuss about. No, not really. I mean, the timeline is messed up. That's the number one complaint. Everybody's come up with the timeline's messed up. Yes, the timeline is messed up. But there is a reason. Something major happened. If that something major had happened, we wouldn't be in this mess, okay? So, I mean, technically, it's right where it's supposed to be. It's just everything's kind of a little skewed. It's kind of like when Kirk and Spock and all them found the people from the other dimension, or the other whatever it was, the dark side. You know, the Captain Kirk that came over, and he was like, you know, and everybody was like, oh yes, Captain Kirk. And Captain Kirk's like, the good Kirk is over on the other ship, and the bad Kirk's on the other ship, and the other Spock has imprisoned the bad Kirk because he knows he's a bad Kirk, and the good Kirk is over there with the bad Spock, and the bad Spock's like, I don't know who you are or what you are, but I know you don't belong here. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But, it's, you know, like McCoy was torturing some poor little creature in the cage. It's like that, only not that bad. It's more like if you had an interruption in a flow, then a stream, a steady stream. If you had an interruption in that stream, then something would make it different. Like throwing a brick into a little tiny stream. Well, I was going to say a stream or a river, but that's kind of a little, wouldn't make much difference. This is more like a dam being built across the river. You know, something major happens, the flow of the water is diverted. So it's not quite the exact same plot as you're used to, but you know, once you get into the swing of things, it's quite good. It's very good. Leonard Nimoy's in it. I actually have his book, which is really odd for me. Actually, there's a big story behind that book. I bought the first, usually where I used to live, we had a library. No, a library. And it had books that you could take home with you. Well, in this library, they had a whole bunch of books. And, of course, William Shatner's done quite a few Star Trek type books. So I was reading them and everything. And we went into the big city. Big city. This is farther away than the library. This is the big city. This is a big city. It takes an hour and a half to go to. So we got to the big city, and we were in a bookstore. I think the bookstore has now gone out of business. But anyway, we were at this bookstore, and we were like, oh, this is really nice. And so we were browsing through the books, and I found one on Star Trek. And it was called I Am Spock. And it was by Leonard Nimoy. And I'm like, ooh, I like it. So I thought, oh, you know what? I will find this book at the library, and I'll get it and read it, and that'll be fine. Now, they didn't have it at the library. They couldn't order it at the library. They couldn't even find the book. They didn't even know it existed. I was like, oh, this is going to help immensely, isn't it? So, I mean, it was only $5. I mean, come on. $5. A $5 book. Well, this was quite a few years ago. Anyway, I got in there, and I went and bought the book, okay, finally. And it was the absolute first book I ever bought. Ever. I mean, really, ever. And, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere around here. We're in the process of moving, in case you didn't know. And, it's lost. It's somewhere, trust me. It's between here and there. It's just finding the place between here and there. That's the problem. But anyway, I found the book, and I bought the book, and I read it. And it's quite well worn now. But I love that book, and I love the new movie. So, for all of you Star Trek fans out there who did not go and see the movie, go see the movie. Don't ignore what everybody else said. If you really know Star Trek, especially those who really know Star Trek, if you go out there, go find it. It's good. Alright? Have fun. Join us for the rest of the show.